welcome back to another video on Life with Kim, and today I will be finally talking about the company that I work with as a freelance writer. I know that a lot of people asked about it and I've been promising to do this video for a while. So now that the New York vlogs are over and I'm back home and I kind of settled back down, I decided like it's finally time to tell you a little bit about that. So I'll be giving a bit about the backstory, of course, how the interview process was, a little bit about that, and then if you actually are successful, what it's like working with them, how you go about getting clients, how you get paid, and all that good stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around for the entire video so you can finally get all the information. And even if you may not actually do it, but you may know someone that might want to try it, you could also send the video to them, or you could listen to it and let them know about it. So let's go. Okay, so the backstory is basically that I spent a lot of years while I was in university saying that I wanted a blog. Like everybody every minute was hearing me saying, I'm gonna start a blog, I want a blog, I want a blog, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, what is it even going to be about? So at that time I used to kind of write poems, and then I would also take like funny pictures and put my own spin on it and do a commentary, like whether it was a just a funny sign or like a sign with a typo and that kind of thing. So eventually when I finished UV, I had some time and I was kind of like, okay, well, before I was saying, well, no, I knew I don't have time to do that or whatever. So because I eventually had the time and I would have been job hunting, I was like, this is the perfect time to start the blog. That would have been in 2015. So I started and I posted my poems on the same photo commentary that I was just mentioning. And from that, I kind of realized more and more that, okay, this is something that I like doing. Mind you, I never thought at that time this was something that I would do as a career or something that you could really make money off of. Like, even if I thought, okay, well, you can make money, it wasn't like substantial, or it wouldn't be enough to make it a full career. And I think that that could probably be because that's what we probably just grow up hearing. And you hear the typical careers or like the best careers, especially when you go to a so-called prestige school and they tell you like, okay, everybody basically have either they are a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, or those typical jobs. And nothing is wrong with that, obviously, but it plays on your mind in a way that being a writer, author, or anything along those lines is something that you wouldn't really think of. Anyway, um so I started the blog, and as I said, I realized, okay, I like this writing thing. And when the opportunity came for me to actually write for online magazine, that was kind of like the first ding in my mind when I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I could make money from. Even if I don't do it full time, I could make money on the side, so why not? And if you watch my video where I spoke about why I left my corporate job, you'll get some more insight on that, so I wouldn't really go too in depth. But basically that got the ball rolling. And sometimes people ask as well, like all the time, so like what you studied, or you did journalism, blah 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 blah. Listen to me, y'all. When you like something and you have a natural talent for it, I'm not saying that the studies aren't good or that the theory isn't helpful, especially if the job you're applying for, you have to have something on paper. But when you really like it and you put your heart into it and you use the online resources and all those things to improve, sometimes you really don't even need that piece of paper. So my degree is actually in Spanish, and I did a minor in linguistics, which of course would have helped me in terms of understanding language and phonology, semantics, and those kind of things. But really and truly, it's not that I studied communication or I studied journalism. Eventually, when I became more serious about it, I did a course on Udemy, so you can check them out because they have some courses and they're relatively cheap or affordable. So you can always check that out, or check out other websites that have courses, and you could just do one or two of those, attend workshops and just improve whatever skill you have. And for me, it was kind of like, okay, even if eventually I do decide to do something in journalism or do more formal studies, these short courses help you to see if you're really interested before you sign up for a course, before you spend money on a course, and then you realize, okay, this is really not what I want to do. So you don't need necessarily to have those things. Once you have the passion for it, as I say, you develop the skill, and then um, you have things to show for it, you have experience that you could do the job, then you're good to go. The next thing is, do not underestimate the power of LinkedIn. A lot of people do not use LinkedIn. They don't like it, they don't see the point of it, whatever's the reason. But sometimes it really can be helpful. And I was also like that, and I was thinking, LinkedIn is not a big thing in the Caribbean, or people say all the time, it's so great for networking and it's so great to get jobs, and it's like, okay, but where are these jobs? Like, how am I going to get them? And why I say that is because the recruiter from the company actually reached out to me. So when I got the message on LinkedIn, at first I thought, okay, well, this is definitely a scam, and like, why would they reach out to me? And I don't even have that much stuff posted on my LinkedIn, because the way that I have it now and how it was back then, it wasn't as developed as it is now. So I was like, nah, this is definitely a scam. And it turns out that it wasn't. So they messaged me. The name of the company is iWorker, and it was like, we're looking for writers. I can't even remember what the message was, because this was like probably 2018. I can't remember. Probably around 2018. And I decided, okay, well, I'll still apply, I'll check it out, and if it goes well, great. And if it's a scam, and if not, well, okay, whatever, because I have my job anyway. So I wasn't really banking on it. Okay, so let's go now to talk about the interview process. So the way that the interview works is, first you get a link that takes you to a form to fill out online with all your information. So of course your name, um, the job that you're applying for, which in my case would be for writing, because they have other jobs as well. I don't know too much about those, but like, for example, virtual assistants and those kind of things. So you would choose the link that is relative to what you want to do, and you fill out as well, like, if you have experience. Because it's for writing, they would have asked for samples, and thankfully, as I was telling you before, when I started getting like one or two freelance jobs here and there, I was able to use those as samples to say, okay, well, this, like, I have experience in writing, and this is like my portfolio. So you upload all of those, and you fill out everything on the form, and based on that initial filling out, then they will decide, okay, if we want to move forward with the virtual interview or not. So when they review it, they decided, okay, yes, we like what we see so far, and we want to move forward with the virtual interview. The virtual interview is really you uploading audios. At the time that I did it, I uploaded audios. I think one was to talk about yourself for like 2 minutes, talk about your interests, talk about why you interested in getting a remote job, things like that. So you had to record about 3 audios and upload it, and then based on that, they'll give you the final acceptance, or they would say, okay, well, we're not interested, or whatever the case may be. So for me, after I recorded those, and I was like waiting, because of course you want to get through, and eventually I did. So I got an email saying that I was successful, and these are the next steps in signing up, and the information that we need to get from you, when we need to get it by, and all those things. Right? So now we're going to jump to actual working with them and how you go about getting clients. So when I started, remember, it was part-time. So I was still working at my previous job, and I was like, yeah, I could do this like a 10 hours a week or whatever. The thing is, you have to be mindful of the schedule that you have, and as much as they do allow you to work part-time, you really need to carve out the time for it, and I'll explain why. When you sign up, you have to ensure that your Zoom is signed up, and you give them the link to your personal meeting room. With that link, they allow you to interview with clients, meaning you submit a bio and you submit samples of previous work that you would have done. They use that to promote you to potential clients. If the client is interested, you don't just get the job right away. The client is the one who, when they see the options, they will decide, okay, I potentially want to work with this person, and they book an interview with you. they book that interview on a website called Calendly. So the company iWorker tells you exactly how to set up everything, how to set up the Calendly account, and it's done in 30-minute intervals. So each interview will essentially last 30 minutes for the most, but most times it's a lot less than that, like probably 15 to 20 minutes. So once somebody is interested and they click that link, it takes them straight to your calendar online, and they can see the hours that you would set, saying that, okay, I'm free between this and this time to conduct an interview. Once they see like that, then you get an email saying that an interview was booked with you with the client. And you also get a WhatsApp message from someone on the team at iWorker. Just in case you missed the email, they let you know, hey, you just had an interview booked with this client. And you get all the information, well, not all, but you get a bit of information as well in terms of the company that the client is working with, what exactly they need help with, and, well, of course, the time and the date of the interview. So then you have to be organized to say, okay, whether it is you put it on your phone or you make a little note or whatever the case may be, to remember that you have an interview on that day. So when doing it while I was working, it was difficult because on your Calendly you have to set up a certain number of hours per day that people could potentially book you in on if they're interested, and you have to book it between working hours. And during working hours, where was I? At work, obviously. So sometimes I would even book my lunch hour as two sessions, because you have like 2 half-an-hour slots there, and I would have to like eat lunch and then I'll have an interview, or depending on the time that the person booked, I would have the interview first and then eat lunch, which is very awkward because I have to go somewhere that's quiet, and then if I have to put my camera on, it's like, oh, that's a big, anyway. So all of that to say that you have to really take everything into consideration, because chances are you might have to interview, I don't know, either very late in the afternoon, which is time that you're probably on your way home from work, or early in the morning. I don't know, it depends on everybody's schedule, of course, right? So doing that for, I did it for 6 months. I would have started with them the first time in October 2019, and I went up until March 2020. So in a sense, I did regret leaving because I left in March 2020, and I was like, I can't. It was becoming too much to juggle, and it just wasn't working out. And at that time, I was baking as well, part time, also as a way to earn some extra money. And I was like, okay, no, something has to go. And I decided to stop doing that. And I was also the same time when the pandemic was revving up. So I was like, geez, because now that, all these lockdown measures and all these things, I could have had even more time to do it. But that ship has sailed. So anyway, so fast forward, again, you could watch my video about when I quit my job. But fast forward a bit, and when I actually started putting things in place at the beginning of this year, I was kind of like, okay, I wonder if the company will even accept me again because I quit, and I wonder if I have to start over the interview process. Like, a lot of things were going through my mind. So eventually I did message them. I reached out to them, and thankfully they accepted. They told me that yes, I would have to reapply, and so I went through the whole process again, and I got through. So I would have started working with them again this year, probably around July, I think. Yeah, probably around then. Right? So that is how I was able to leave my corporate job as a writer to do that. And then a few weeks after that is when I got through to write freelance for Loop as well. So having the two helps me to at least have a stable enough source of income, because you really don't know like how much clients you're going to get, how much work each client is going to give you, and you don't have a set salary as a freelancer. So for me, having two things has been great. So now let's talk about how you get paid, because I know you're talking about, okay, she going on and on about all this fluff, like what about the money, right? So let's talk about that. As a foreign company, they do pay you in US. You get paid every 2 weeks, and you also see the schedule for payment, so you know exactly, although you know it's every 2 weeks, you could always refer to that to see when exactly you will be getting paid. So they used two programs, well, payment software, I don't know the proper name for it. One is PayPal and the other one is Uphold. So based on the option that you choose, you can decide where you want the money to go and how you want to go about withdrawing it, etc. Right, so there's that. In terms of them knowing how much to pay you, you get paid per hour. So each person has a timesheet, and every time you get a new client, the client is added to your timesheet, which is an Excel sheet that they share with you. So for each client you have, once you're going to do work for them, you have to log your hours very carefully, so you could know how much time you spent on each task. You log that in, the time you started, the time you finished, and you also have to say what you would have worked on. So the client also gets access to that, so they could see, okay, yeah, you worked on this, or yeah, the hours make sense, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's about it. Once they tally that up, they tally it by the 2 weeks, you get paid. If for the 2 weeks, if you didn't do any work during then, well, of course you don't get any money, and that's kind of how it goes. So that's how you get paid. Okay, so now I'll just talk about my experience overall. They're very easygoing, as I said, very responsive. You also have a team manager based on the country that you're from or based on the language that you speak. So I think there's one for English speakers and one for Spanish speakers. So if you ever have any issues, you could just WhatsApp your team manager directly or email them, and it's sorted out relatively quickly. um so yeah, I've never had an issue with them. The clients, they are very diverse. I've worked with a lot of foreign companies. Somebody from Canada, I have a lot of clients from Canada. One that I'm currently working with is from Canada, and the range is very wide. Like, I've done with work for a fireworks company, for a dentist office. What else? I even worked with somebody who was developing a game, and they wanted somebody just to help them with the copy for the game because their first language wasn't English. That was a kind of more fun one. So there's so much possibilities. I guess the only downside to it is that you don't know how many clients you'll have, how long the client will need you for in terms of how much work you're going to get, and that kind of thing. So if you're doing it, you really need to set yourself up that, okay, I'm doing this part-time and it's going to be a way to earn extra money. Or if I'm doing it full-time, I really need to like have good time management, push to say like, okay, how much clients are able to take on. Or you need to have another source of income as well that will be able to help you through in the event that you don't have as much work or as many clients as you expect. So I think that's about it, pretty much in a nutshell. If you have any questions, you could feel free to comment it below, or you could feel free to message me on Instagram. I am very responsive, and I also like helping others. And if this is something that you're interested in, I will help you. If you want to know anything else that wasn't mentioned in the video, you can ask any questions that you have. Also, if you want to sign up, let me know or send me a message on Instagram, and I will tell you how to go about doing that. So I think that's about it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it and finally got the information that you wanted, and I hope that it will help somebody out there in terms of if they are thinking about this step, that it will motivate them to do it and to see that it is possible even for us in the Caribbean to do as a way to earn money. So enjoy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and as I said earlier, if you think this video will be helpful to somebody else, please send it to them. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.